The starfield outside the small human ship looked calm, but Arif felt something was wrong. He had been traveling alone for weeks, moving deeper into an uncharted region of space. His mission was simple: follow a strange signal that Earth satellites had detected. But nothing about the signal felt normal. It pulsed slowly, like a heartbeat. It sounded almost alive. Arif checked his screens again. The signal coordinates were close now. Too close. His ship lights flickered once, then steadied. A soft vibration moved under his feet, like something was touching the hull from the outside. He froze. Not good, he whispered to himself. The ship AI tried to scan the area, but every system began to lag, as if the space around them was thickening. The signal strength suddenly jumped from weak to powerful, filling every speaker with a low humming tone. The sound dug into his chest. It felt like the galaxy itself was calling his name. Arif stared out the front window, and his breath caught. Something was ahead. Not a planet. Not an asteroid. Something built. Something huge. It slowly appeared from the shadows of a dark nebula, a massive floating palace made of metal and crystal. It stretched wider than any human station. Sharp towers curved upward. Blue flames moved along its surface like living rivers. Arif felt a chill crawl up his neck. This was not just an alien structure. This was a throne. As his ship drifted closer, invisible forces locked onto it. He tried to pull away, but the controls refused. The ship shook once, then stopped completely, held by something he couldn't see. A deep voice filled the air. Not human. Not electronic. Something older. "Welcome, human." Arif's heart raced. He looked around the cockpit, trying to find the source. The voice spoke again, calmer this time. "You have been expected." Arif swallowed hard. Expected? By who? The lights inside the cockpit dimmed. A path of blue symbols appeared on his main screen, pulsing like veins. His ship began to move forward on its own, guided toward a large opening in the alien palace. Arif took a deep breath. He had trained for first contact missions, but nothing had prepared him for this moment. The ship passed through a shield of shimmering light and entered a giant hangar that seemed empty at first, until the walls began to glow softly. Tall alien guards stepped out from behind columns. Their armor was black and silver. Their faces were hidden. They moved in perfect silence. As Arif stepped out of his ship, every guard turned toward him. Their eyes glowed faint white. Their posture said one thing. They had been waiting for him. A long corridor opened ahead, lit by blue flames. The air felt heavy, like the palace was breathing around him. Arif walked forward slowly, each step echoing through the massive hall. He felt watched, judged, measured. The corridor ended at a tall door carved with strange symbols. It opened by itself. A soft, cold wind brushed against him. Inside was a grand chamber with floating lights and a high ceiling that seemed to stretch into darkness. Arif stepped in, and the door shut behind him. He heard footsteps. Not many. Just one person. Slow, graceful, confident. A figure stepped from the shadows, a tall alien with silver skin and glowing blue eyes. Not a soldier. Not a guard. Something more important. The alien looked at him for a long moment, then spoke in a calm, echoing voice. "The Queen has been watching you." Arif felt his throat tighten. "Queen? Why? I don't even know who she is." The alien's expression did not change, but there was a strange softness in his voice as he replied. "She knows you." The chamber lights flickered, and a deeper silence filled the air, the kind of silence that said something powerful was about to arrive. Arif's heartbeat grew faster. Whatever waited behind the next door, whatever this queen wanted, he knew one thing. His life was no longer his own. Arif stood still as the chamber lights shifted from blue to white. The air around him felt heavier, almost like gravity itself had increased. The silver-skinned alien walked ahead and motioned for him to follow. "Come, human. The Queen wishes to understand your spirit." Arif didn't like the sound of that, but he walked. The corridor beyond the chamber was narrow and strangely silent. No guards. No machines. Only long, smooth walls that glowed faintly with flowing symbols. They moved like liquid patterns, sliding across the surface as if the palace was alive. Arif kept glancing at them. Each symbol felt like it was watching him, studying him. "Is this place sensing me?" he finally asked. The alien didn't turn. "Yes, this structure is not only a palace. It is a mind." Arif swallowed. "A living palace. Great." They reached a round room with no ceiling, just a deep, star-filled sky far above. A soft blue mist floated around the floor like clouds. Arif paused at the entrance. "What is this place?" The alien answered with quiet pride. "The Chamber of Truth. No one hides here. Not even the Queen." Arif stepped inside. Instantly the mist rose around him, wrapping around his arms and shoulders like threads of cold air. A humming sound filled the chamber. The stars above began to rotate slowly. Then came the shock. The mist formed shapes, silhouettes of people, his people. Arif gasped when he recognized them. His mother, his old commander, his childhood friend. Faces from Earth. Faces he had not seen in years. "This isn't real," he whispered. "It is memory," the alien said. "Your heart reveals what it carries." One by one the mist figures turned toward him. Some smiled. Some looked disappointed. One looked afraid. Arif felt his chest tighten. It wasn't just memory. It was emotion pulled out into the open, displayed like fragile glass. "Why do you show me this?" he asked. "To measure your truth," the alien said. "The Queen does not choose blindly." "Choose?" Arif frowned. "Choose him for what?" Before he could ask, the mist changed again. Now it formed a different shape. Tall, crowned, graceful. The outline of a woman, no, of a queen. The voice that followed echoed through the entire chamber. "Human, step forward." Arif's heart jumped. He wasn't sure where the voice came from. The alien guide bowed deeply, almost touching the floor. "She is here," he whispered. The mist parted, opening a straight path through the chamber. Arif walked slowly, each step heavier than the last. His heartbeat sounded louder than the humming. Then the stars above brightened, forming a beam of white light that reached the floor. Out of that light, a figure emerged, real this time, not mist. Tall, elegant, eyes glowing like deep oceans. The Queen. Her presence alone pushed the air aside. Arif felt a pressure in his mind, like she could read every thought he had ever had. But there was no cruelty in her gaze. Only curiosity. "You carry fear," she said softly. "And yet, you walk forward." Arif forced himself to speak. "I didn't come here to walk backward." The alien guide's eyes widened. He looked terrified at Arif's boldness. "But the Queen." She smiled. A small, strange, knowing smile. "I see," she whispered. "Your truth is stronger than your fear. That is rare among your kind." Arif's pulse quickened. "Why am I here?" The Queen stepped closer, her eyes locked onto his. "You are here because I called you." Arif felt the room tilt. Called him? Why would an alien queen call a simple human explorer across light years? Before he could speak, the Queen lifted a hand. The mist wrapped around him again, this time warm, almost gentle, and her voice filled his mind like a calm tide. "You do not yet understand, human, but you will." Arif felt the air shift. The chamber walls grew brighter. Something important was coming. Something he was not ready for. And then the Queen spoke the words that froze the entire room. "You are the one I have chosen." Arif's breath caught the moment he heard her words. Chosen? By a ruler of an alien empire he had never met? The Queen stepped even closer. Her presence felt like a storm hidden behind calm water. Her eyes glowed with a strange warmth. But Arif sensed something deeper, something ancient. "You are confused," she said softly, reading his face with ease. "But confusion is natural when destiny arrives too early." Arif shook his head. "No, I'm not destiny. I'm just a human pilot." The Queen tilted her head slightly, amused. "A human, yes, but not just a human." The chamber floors shifted beneath them. Light flowed in rings, rising up the walls like waves. It was as if the palace responded to her emotions. The alien guide bowed again and stepped back, giving Arif and the Queen space. He did not dare look directly at her now. Arif tried to stay calm, but his heart kept pounding. "Why did you bring me here? What do you want from me?" The Queen's voice changed, quieter, deeper, carrying weight. "My world stands on the edge of a great storm. The old alliances are breaking. The ancient prophecy speaks of someone who stands outside our bloodline, someone who sees truth where others see fear." Arif blinked. "And you think that's me?" "I do not think," she corrected gently. "I know." The chamber dimmed, leaving only her glowing eyes visible for a moment. The mist behind her twisted into shapes. Battles, fallen towers, soldiers kneeling, planets burning. Arif watched the visions with a tight chest. "These are the futures we fear," she said. "My people are powerful, but power without balance leads to ruin." I need someone who sees the universe differently. Someone who does not bow to our old ways. Arif frowned. You want an advisor? The queen laughed softly, the sound echoing through the chamber like bells underwater. No, human. I want something far more important. She turned toward the mist, which suddenly formed the image of two figures standing side by side, one clearly her, and the other, undeniably human. Arif stepped back in shock. No, no way. You can't be serious. She stepped close again, her voice almost a whisper. My people call it the binding, a joining of spirits, a partnership that links strength and reason. Only one being in the galaxy can stand beside a monarch in this sacred bond. Arif's pulse hammered in his ears. You're saying, yes. She met his eyes without hesitation. I am saying you were chosen to stand with me. Arif stared at her in disbelief. Why me? I don't know your customs. I don't understand your world. And I'm not. She raised a hand gently, silencing him. You are human. And humans carry a fire unlike any species we have ever known. You survive storms that should break you. You turn weakness into strength. You challenge everything. Her gaze softened. That is why I chose you. For a moment, Arif couldn't speak. The chamber felt too large, too bright, too heavy. He finally managed to whisper, I didn't ask for this. No, the queen agreed calmly. But fate rarely waits for permission. The mist dissolved. The lights steadied. The chamber fell into a calm silence. Then she added something that made Arif's stomach tighten. Many in my empire will reject this choice. They will see you as a threat. Some may even try to end you. She paused, then smiled. A dangerous, confident smile. But they forget one thing. Whoever threatens you, threatens me. Arif felt a cold shiver run down his spine. Standing here was no longer a simple mission. No longer an accident. He was now part of something far greater and far more dangerous than he had ever imagined. And somewhere deep inside the palace, someone else had already sensed the queen's choice. Someone who was not happy. The chamber lights dimmed again, leaving only a faint glow around the queen. Arif felt the weight of her words pressing on his chest. He had been chosen, and now he was a target. The queen noticed the fear in his eyes, but she did not step back. Do not let fear control you, she said gently. Fear is only a shadow. It cannot touch you unless you walk into it. Arif wanted to believe her, but the truth was heavier than her calm voice. You said some might try to end me, he said. Why? I didn't do anything. The queen looked toward the far wall. The mist slid aside, revealing a dark silhouette, a towering alien statue with long, curved horns and armor-like plating. The High Council, she said quietly. They rule beside me, but they do not rule with my heart. Arif studied the statue. It looked powerful and unfriendly. They believe only our own kind should stand with the crown, she continued. They fear what they don't understand. And humans are something they have never understood. Arif sighed. So I'm a problem for them. Not a problem, she corrected. A threat. The word echoed through the chamber, making Arif's skin tighten. Before he could respond, the chamber doors slammed open. A group of armored guards stormed inside, different from the silent ones Arif had seen earlier. Their armor was red instead of black, and their weapons pulsed with sharp crimson energy. The alien guide who had escorted Arif tensed immediately. These are the council's men, he whispered. They should not be here. The lead soldier stepped forward, his helmet opening to reveal an angular, sharp-featured face. His eyes held no warmth. Your Majesty, he said with a cold bow. Forgive the interruption, but this is urgent. The queen's expression didn't change. Speak. The soldier's gaze shifted to Arif, examining him like a specimen. Rumors are spreading, he said. Some believe you have chosen this human for the binding. Arif felt the air thicken. The queen's eyes narrowed slightly, but her voice stayed calm. And if I have? The soldier paused, just long enough to make his message clear. It would be unwise, he said slowly. Dangerous. The council would not approve. Arif felt something inside him snap. He stepped forward. I didn't ask for any of this, he said sharply. But if you have a problem, say it to me directly. The alien guard stiffened at his boldness. The soldier gave a thin smile, the kind that hides a knife. Human, he said quietly, you do not understand how fragile your existence is in this place. Arif didn't look away. Try me. A sudden hush fell over the room. Even the queen looked surprised, not offended, but impressed. The soldier leaned closer, his voice turning cold. You should leave now, before decisions are made that cannot be undone. Arif opened his mouth to reply, but the queen raised her hand. Enough. Her voice cut through the room like lightning. Every guard fell silent. She stepped between Arif and the soldier, her presence suddenly fierce. This human is under my protection, she said. Any harm to him will be seen as betrayal to the crown. The soldier's mask of respect cracked for a second. His jaw tightened. As you command, Majesty, he said stiffly. He motioned to his men, and they withdrew, but not without throwing one last cold stare at Arif. When the doors closed, the chamber remained silent for a long moment. Arif exhaled slowly. So, they really don't like me. The queen turned to him, her expression softer now. They fear what you represent, she said. Change. Arif rubbed his forehead. I just wanted to follow a signal. Now I'm stuck in the middle of a royal drama. The alien guide stepped closer. Human, the queen did not exaggerate. The council will not stay silent. They will test you. They will challenge you. And some may try far worse. The queen nodded. This is only the beginning. Arif felt the truth settle deep in his chest. Whatever journey had brought him here, it was nothing compared to what was coming next. Somewhere in the palace, behind walls he could not see, the council was already planning their next move. And Arif was no longer just a visitor. He was a threat to their power. Arif followed the queen and her guide through a long corridor that curved downward into the deeper levels of the palace. The air grew colder. The lights dimmed. Strange echoes moved through the metal walls like distant whispers. He could feel it. Something was waiting for him. The queen walked ahead with calm confidence, her robes gliding across the glowing floor. The alien guide walked behind Arif, nervous and alert. Finally, they reached a massive circular chamber. The ceiling was high, filled with floating blue crystals that spun slowly like tiny stars. In the center stood a glowing ring, a structure of tall silver pillars forming a gateway. Arif stopped. What is that? The astral gate, the queen replied. It is an ancient trial. Only those who carry courage may enter and return. Arif frowned. Trial? I didn't agree to any trial. The queen stepped closer, her eyes soft but firm. You must prove yourself, Arif. Not to me, but to my people. If you do nothing, the council will destroy you. They will call you weak. A mistake. A danger. Arif clenched his fists. So this is their test? No, she said quietly. This is your chance. The alien guide touched a panel on the wall. The pillars of the gate lit up, sending waves of white energy into the air. A swirling portal appeared in the center, dark, stormy, alive. Arif stared at it. What's inside? A place shaped by your mind, the queen said. Your fears, your doubts, your hidden strength. Great, Arif thought. A nightmare playground. But he also knew something else. If he ran now, he would always be hunted. If he fought, maybe he could earn respect, or at least survive. He exhaled slowly. What do I have to do? You must enter the gate, she said. Face what waits inside, and return before the crystals complete one full rotation. Arif looked up. The crystals rotated painfully slow, but the room was huge. One rotation could take minutes or seconds. He couldn't tell. The queen placed her hand on his shoulder. The touch was gentle, surprisingly warm. Do not fear what you see, she whispered. Fear only the part of you that refuses to rise. Arif nodded, even though fear twisted inside him like a knot. One step, another. The portal pulled at him like a soft current. Just as he reached the edge, the doors behind them slammed open. Red-armored soldiers, the council's men. Their leader, the same soldier from Part 4, marched inside with a cold smile. So it is true, he said loudly. You placed the fate of our empire on a fragile outsider. The queen turned sharply. Leave. This trial is sacred. You have no authority here. But the soldier only smirked. On the contrary, Majesty, I have come to witness his failure. Arif felt anger rise in his chest. These aliens didn't even want to give him a chance. They wanted him humiliated, or dead. He stepped forward, facing the portal. If it's failure you want to see, Arif said, you came to the wrong planet. A few soldiers murmured in surprise. The lead soldier's smile faded. The queen's eyes shone with pride. That is the fire of your kind, she whispered. Before he could lose his courage, Arif took a deep breath and stepped into the swirling darkness of the astral gate. The world around him vanished in an instant. Cold wind roared in his ears. Shadows twisted into shapes. The ground under his feet felt unstable, shifting like sand floating in space. He was alone. No queen. No soldiers. No palace. Only a strange, endless void, glowing faintly with shifting colors. Arif steadied himself. His breath made small white clouds in the freezing air. "Okay," he whispered. "Show me what you've got." In the darkness ahead, something began to form. Tall, massive, heavy. A shape he recognized too well. A shape he had hoped never to see again. The first challenge had arrived, born from his own fear, and it was coming straight toward him. The shape in the void grew taller, wider, heavier. Arif's breath stopped when the creature stepped fully into view. It was a towering figure of black armor and burning eyes, a haunting memory from his past. His old commander, the one who had died trying to save their ship years ago. The guilt of that mission had followed Arif ever since. But the thing standing here was not his commander. It was a twisted version, built from regret, fear, and the pressure Arif carried inside his heart. The creature's voice shook the entire void. "You left us behind." Arif stepped back, the cold ground cracking beneath his feet. "That's not real," he whispered. "You're not him." The monster moved closer, each step sending shockwaves across the shifting terrain. "You were chosen?" "You," it growled. "You couldn't even save your own people. How will you save an empire?" The words hit him like a punch. This was the trial. Not brute strength. Not weapons. Truth. Fear. Guilt. Arif's chest tightened, but he forced himself to stand firm. "I made mistakes," he said, voice trembling but honest. "I failed that day. I failed people I cared about. But I'm still here. I'm still trying." The creature roared. The void cracked open, forming giant fissures of red light. The air trembled. "You are weak." Arif clenched his fists. For a moment, he felt like the old, terrified version of himself, the man who avoided talking about that mission, who buried the guilt deep inside. But not today. Today he was being judged. Today he had to rise. He stared straight into the creature's burning eyes. "Maybe I'm weak," he said. "But weakness doesn't decide who I become. I decide that." The creature hesitated. Its form flickered. The void wind grew louder, swirling around Arif like a storm. Arif took a step forward. "I can't change the past," he said, voice growing stronger. "But I can fight for the future. I can fight for myself. And I can fight for the people who believe in me." The monster raised its arm to strike, a blow that looked powerful enough to break mountains. Arif did not move back. "Do it then," he shouted. "If fear wants to crush me, let it try." The creature froze mid-strike. Its form cracked like glass. The cracks spread across its body, glowing with white light. Then, with a thunderous shatter, it exploded into mist and vanished. Silence fell. A deep, peaceful silence. The void brightened. The cold faded. The shifting ground became solid beneath Arif's feet. He exhaled, shaking, but proud. He had faced his greatest fear, not by running, but by standing. A soft voice echoed through the void. The Queen's voice. "You have done what many of my kind could not. You have faced the truth within yourself." Light surrounded Arif, lifting him gently. The void dissolved, replaced by the glowing pillars of the astral gate chamber. Arif stumbled out of the portal, breathing hard. The Queen rushed toward him, her calm mask gone for the first time. There was worry in her eyes. "You returned," she whispered. "I feared." Arif forced a smile. "Told you. Wrong planet if you're looking for quitters." The alien guide bowed deeply, shocked and relieved. Even some black-armored guards showed respect with a small nod. But the red-armored council soldier stood silent, jaw tight, eyes burning with anger. He stepped forward slowly. "This proves nothing," he said sharply. "Trials can be manipulated. Illusions can be faked." The Queen turned toward him, her voice sharp as a blade. "You doubt my gate." The soldier didn't flinch. "I doubt him." Arif felt the tension rise again. But this time, he wasn't the same man who walked into the portal. He looked the soldier in the eyes and said quietly, "Then test me again." The chamber gasped. Even the Queen looked surprised. The soldier's lips curled into a cold smile. "Oh, we will." He turned and walked away, his steps echoing like a promise of conflict. Arif felt the Queen's gaze on him. She stepped closer. "You have earned honor here," she said softly. "But the council will not stop. The storm is coming." Arif breathed in deeply. He was ready, because for the first time, He believed he could win. The queen led Arif toward the upper palace, where massive windows opened to a sky filled with drifting blue stars. The halls were brighter now, glowing with soft gold light, as if the palace itself recognized his victory. But Arif could feel it. Hope was rising, and so was danger. The alien guide walked beside them nervously. Human, the council will act soon. They cannot accept your success. They will try something final. Arif nodded. He already sensed the storm coming. They reached the throne room, a vast chamber shaped like a star. The queen's throne stood in the center, carved from a crystal that seemed to hold galaxies inside it. Arif looked around. Why bring me here? The queen stepped onto the platform, her long robes flowing like streams of light. Because this is where truth becomes law, she said. If the council challenges my choice, they must do it here, in full view of the ancient throne. Before Arif could respond, the doors crashed open. Red-armored soldiers marched in like a wall of metal. Behind them came the council soldier, the same one who had threatened Arif before. His expression was colder than ever. He stopped at the foot of the throne platform. Majesty, he said loudly, we reject your decision. A human cannot stand beside the crown. The binding must not happen. The queen stood tall. This is my right. My choice. Your choice, the soldier hissed, will destroy us. Arif stepped forward. You're afraid of change. That's the real truth. The soldier glared at him. I fear only weakness. Arif didn't flinch. Then you fear the wrong species. A murmur ran through the chamber. The soldier raised his hand, and two red-armored guards leveled their weapons at Arif. The energy cores charged with a sharp hum. The queen's eyes hardened. You dare threaten him in my throne room? The soldier spoke without shame. Your Majesty, we act for the safety of the empire. Remove the human, or we will remove him for you. Arif felt heat rise in his chest. Not fear. Not anymore. He took a step forward, placing himself between the queen and the soldiers. Try it, he said quietly. The room fell silent. Even the guards hesitated. The council soldier snarled. You think your little trial makes you strong? No, Arif said. But it showed me something your soldiers don't have. And what is that? The soldier spat. Choice. The word hit the room like thunder. The queen's eyes widened with pride. The alien guide looked stunned. Even the palace lights flickered in response. Arif continued, louder now. You follow orders because you're scared of losing power. But I faced something inside me that could have broken me, and I still came out standing. He pointed toward the soldiers. You think I'm weak? Then look at yourselves. You fear a single human. You fear the idea that someone different could stand beside your queen. The soldier's jaw tightened. Rage burned in his eyes. He lifted his hand, the signal to fire. But the guards didn't shoot. They lowered their weapons. Slowly, carefully. The entire chamber gasped. The soldier spun around. What are you doing? One guard finally spoke, his voice heavy. He passed the astral gate. He faced the truth. He deserves respect. We cannot strike him in dishonor. The soldier roared with fury and drew his blade. But before he could take a single step, a wave of blue energy surged from the throne. The queen had raised her hand. A blast of shimmering light threw the soldier across the floor, sending him crashing into the far wall. He lay still, defeated. Silence filled the chamber. Then the queen turned to Arif. Her voice was steady, calm, but carrying the weight of 1,000 stars. You faced fear. You faced judgment. And now you face destiny. Arif swallowed. What happens now? She extended her hand toward him, not as a ruler, but as an equal. Now, she said softly, you rise beside me. Arif took her hand. A burst of white light filled the throne room. The palace walls lit up like a sunrise. Guards bowed, not out of fear, but out of respect. The choice was made. The moment was real. The human had earned his place. But as the light faded, somewhere deep in the palace machinery, a hidden system activated. A silent red symbol pulsed. Someone, somewhere, was still watching, still plotting. The storm was not over. It had only just begun.